whoever watches this, you're here for a reason. You're here for a reason, right?
Welcome back to the Constant Pursuit Podcast. I'm your host, Stanley Chock, and today our special guest is Leo Padilla. He served in the military for 6 years and is now a mindset coach. Today we talk about how he felt lost as a young man, even if he was well off. We talk about the 3 pillars of a strong mindset for men, and we also talk how to live with purpose and drive. Let's get right to the episode. Leo reached out to me a little while ago. Leo, kind of tell us about, I guess, how you found me and all of that stuff, because I don't even know.
Yeah, man. So I believe we all have a story to tell, right? We're in the age of, truth and putting our story out there. And I believe that I have a pretty good story that can help a lot of men that are lost. I can help them get found, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So I reached out to you because I have to spread my word on social media. And I saw that you had a podcast. I believe I looked up mindset podcasts on YouTube, and you came up.
Oh, sweet. Perfect.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to reach out to Stan and see what we can do. See if we can get a podcast going and spread some wisdom and some knowledge and go from there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It was nice to see that you reached out. I respect that you're able to if we're trying to send a message, like we gotta take steps. We gotta take the initiative, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy how the mind works, right? We think that majority of us think that we have no value to give, right? So like, who am I to go to Stan and say, hey man, can I take up your time, go on your podcast to share my story? But the way I see it is we're both providing value, right? You're trying to spread a word as well. That's why you created this podcast, to help those that need it.
100%.
So it's a two-way street. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. We both have things to say. Let's hop in together and do it.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, or tell everybody who's going to watch this a little bit about yourself. Maybe the stuff you do, like your occupation, and like maybe some of your hobbies, or just some stuff about your life.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll start from the top. So I'm married. I'm a father of twin boys. My know-abouts of my wife getting pregnant is what started everything. But let me go back a little bit, right? I was just an average guy that was living in quiet desperation, right? I had a decent life. I had both parents. They provided what they could. And I honestly never really struggled. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a natural athlete. I was okay in school. I was able to attract the women that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? But that's what caused me to lack the mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything was going my way. So I never had to struggle. I never had to work to become the man I wanted to be. And that led to suffering mentally. You know what I'm saying? Which led to me creating imaginary evils in my mind. And I essentially ended up becoming my own enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see any value in myself. I would always degrade myself around normal people. So I ended up deciding to join the military to fix that. I was like, you know what? The military will give me the confidence that I need. And let's see what kind of man I am. So I joined the military. Long story short, I was active for 6 years. Never found that confidence. I continued to try to find it. I would push myself every single day, put myself in uncomfortable positions, and it wouldn't work. And what I realized was I was talking to myself negatively. I wasn't utilizing what I had out here to reaffirm who I was. I was actually just writing my own story in here, which was not benefiting me whatsoever. What ended up happening was my wife got pregnant, like I said. I realized I was going to have 2 boys. I was like, you know what? I need to become the man that they can respect and admire. And now I'm here pursuing that.
Yeah, that's crazy. How did you get into, so since you're in the military and you were out for 6 years, or you're in for 6 years at that time, not really finding what you were looking for, how did you stumble across it? Like, what have you even stumbled across it yet? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I believe I have, but what I realized is it's a battle every single day, right? The man that forgets he's in the battle loses the fight every time. So every day we got to remind ourselves, like, life is a struggle. Like,
Yeah.
instead of resisting it, let's just kind of go with the flow and use the tools as we learn along the way, you know? But the way I found it was, so I used to be a real big drinker. I used to
Okay.
drink alcohol like every single day, every single day. Like, I would come home and pick up at least a 12 pack and drink about 8 of those minimum. My wife ended up telling me, like, hey, like, we cannot live this way. Like, I don't want to be with someone that just spends all their money drinking alcohol, lays on the couch all day, and doesn't spend time with their kids. Because when we drink, we're not doing anything, right? And then the next day, you're not doing anything either because you're hungover. I ended up quitting alcohol for a whole year, and that's when it began. The whole mindset shift. My thoughts became louder and louder and louder as I stacked those months of sobriety. What I realized was I was suppressing my true emotions with alcohol. I wasn't actually addressing what was wrong with me. Later down the road, I've ended up finding out that there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with none of us. However, we look for external vices to validate ourselves, like the liquid courage, alcohol.
Yep.
A lot of us men run to alcohol, run to women, pornography to make us feel better about the BS of a man that we truly are. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the way I found it was sobriety and first business fail. That's how I ended up finding out about mindset.
Okay, yeah. What did you do for your first business?
I attempted wholesaling real estate. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was actually not that long ago during COVID time. Was it COVID time? I would say it's about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I found out about wholesaling through Brent Daniels. I ended up joining his mentorship. A couple months down the road, I ended up closing my first deal. It was like $26,000 check.
Okay, yeah.
And that was about 3/4 of my salary the year prior. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna pursue this full time.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Worst mistake ever, bro. I don't regret it because I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
But wholesaling real estate was the first business I pursued. I did that first deal. Long story short, I ended up accumulating more knowledge, but I could not scale it. Come to find out a year later, which was earlier this year, like March or so, I realized that I was lacking mindset, that I did not have the correct beliefs to be an entrepreneur, to scale a business. And I didn't think very highly of myself. And that's how I found the process that I'm on today. And since then, I've been cultivating the mindset of a man that can accomplish anything.
Yeah, that's
Crazy,
awesome.
man.
So you're completely done with that then. You're not doing that anymore.
Real estate. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So is that how you started kind of doing you're a mindset coach now? Would you say that's the same thing as like a life coach, or like how would you describe it?
I would say so, because what I found out is life is about 90% mindset, 10% skill set. Because we don't view the world as the world is. We view it as we are.
Yeah. That's a good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. 100%. Yep.
What you think of yourself and what you think of the world is what will reflect back to you. So I'm essentially a life coach.
Yeah. So are you from? You're not from there, right? Are you from Arizona?
I'm from California.
Okay. Got it.
Originally, yeah. I just moved out here April.
How's that?
I've been liking it so far. The energy out here is completely different. The people are living their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not worried about what other people are saying, or just feel like you're being judged out here compared to California.
As a mindset coach, what are a few things that you're reminding yourself, every single day? Because as a coach, you are basically a leader of the people that come to you, right? You're a leader
Correct.
of the people that are reaching out to you and be like, hey, Leo, like, I need somebody to help me figure this out. Like, so before you even get to your, let's say, your clients or the people that want to work with you, like, how are you working on yourself?
The way that I work on myself is, First of all, it's the early wake up, right? Because that is one of the most difficult things to do. Getting up out of bed when you're completely, first of all, just waking up, right? And then you're comfortable in your bed. It's difficult to get out of that. So
Right.
getting up when your alarm goes off is one win, right? And we need wins every single day to approve who we are, to confirm who we are. So that's one way. And then restraining from eating certain foods that don't serve me and eating foods with purpose. What I focus on is, macronutrients, right? Eating the right amount of carbs, fats, and proteins to build a strong body. Because as a man, we need a strong body. You know what I'm saying? Hitting the gym and just doing difficult things every single day. When you do difficult things, you're putting yourself in voluntary stressful situations, which transforms the way you think. It changes your mind. That way, whenever things that are stressful outside of your control, you're prepared for that because you've already done it multiple times, right? So just mainly focusing on the early wake up, diet, and then going to the gym. Those are my three main focuses for sure.
If you can take care of yourself, then people, when you walk into a room and you're the guy with the clean haircut, you're the guy that 10% body fat, you're the guy that is cleaned up. They're like, oh shoot, who's this guy? And you don't even need to say anything. And you have a presence there that I think men, even if they don't say that they want that presence, they want it. Men are looking for, they want to call themselves a man. And no, I mean, that's huge. That's important. I 100% agree with, all of that stuff. That's huge to even, I'm a personal trainer and I train in Vancouver, Washington over here. And
okay, awesome, man.
It's, when people come into the gym and they see me squatting or they see me doing something hard or doing something that, like, oh shoot, not a lot of people can do, they watch and like, oh shoot, that, like, I want to do that. And they're almost like inspired. It's the same exact thing. Like, if we take care of our body, if we're able to take care of our family, people, no matter what, people are watching. Oh shoot, that guy's a good father. Oh shoot, that guy's a good husband. He looks like a good husband. Oh, that guy looks strong. Like, he probably goes to the gym. They'll start to make assumptions, and the assumptions are probably right. And that's, and I think that's what we want. And it's like, okay, cool. And it, like you said, it validates kind of where we're trying to go.
Now that I'm in the realm of like fitness and nutrition and discipline and all that, like when you see another man that's fit and diced up, like, you automatically respect that man because the commitment and the struggle and the sacrifice that you have to go through to create that body. Nights of meal prepping, the early mornings, or whenever you do get your workout in. And those days when you just don't feel like going to the gym, but you still go. So like, and that's what I'm on, right? That's the path that I'm on, to create a man that I admire, that I respect and dearly love, to give to everybody else around me, because I didn't love myself. I didn't. And I wanted other people to love me, but I wouldn't allow them to. However, I wanted it, and I wasn't getting it. So I had to learn how to love myself. Create a dude that I can be proud of, and sacrifice for those that I love.
That's good. That's really good. There's this really good quote. I guess you could say I started living by it. The quote is, I do not rise to my vision, but fall to my patterns. And and it's that idea of like, okay, I may have all the vision in the world, and I may look at things and can plan around and be like, oh, I want to be that, or I want to do that, I want to have that goal or whatever. But if my patterns, if my habits are not aligned with those things, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it's hard. Going to the gym every day is hard. People say it's, I mean, you can say it's easy, but there's days you don't want to go. There's days you don't want to wake up early. There's days you don't want to eat the right food. There's days that you don't want to treat people nicely. There's days that you want to do everything backwards, or everything the wrong way, or that's the wrong way.
For sure.
And no, that's awesome. So how does being a father for you, how does that almost like, it must like light a fire under you?
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because just like I was saying earlier at the beginning, right? This is the second chance of the whole father son, father daughter dynamic, right?
Yeah.
At
Mm-hmm.
first, I was the son. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm still the son, but I'm a grown
Yeah.
man now, you know.
Right.
But
Right.
now it's my turn to prepare my sons for the world.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, unfortunately to say, he never handled his bullshit.
Yeah. Yep.
He still was trying to figure it out, what it was or what it is to be a man.
Yep.
He couldn't let go of his own demons. He's still using vices to make him feel more courageous. And unfortunately, nothing external can fix that. You had to cultivate that within,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I went through a lot of pain growing up because of that. I was lost. I was grown, but I still felt like a little boy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Around other
Yep.
men because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what the principles were of a man, and I don't want my kids to feel that same pain.
Yeah.
So it's my responsibility to sacrifice and go in and out of the fire, figuring out what it is to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, I'm gonna just pass it down to my kids, and they're gonna have to figure it out.
Yep.
And I believe that's our purpose, everybody's, to fix yourself
Mm-hmm.
instead of just passing it down the lazy way, like
Yeah.
majority of people are doing it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
So I have a huge flame inside me, bro.
Yeah. That's sick. No, that's awesome. Yeah.
It's burning every single day,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the trick. That's the whole battle of life, right? We think life is supposed to be easy. We see other people killing it in life. So whenever we feel uncomfortable or we feel like we're not good enough, we feel like it's not that shouldn't happen. We feel like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
supposed to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. Like you're supposed to have resistance. You're supposed to feel uncomfortable, feel stressed. It's hard to look at it that way, but if you feel stressed out or you feel uncomfortable, you're going the right direction. We think that once we feel that discomfort, it's time to turn around, but that's not the point. You got to continue to go through that terror barrier.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. No, it's, I mean, for me myself, like I'm having a child on the way, and I don't know if you remember how you felt like right before you had your kid, um, or your kids, um, but it's seriously like it's a wake up call. Life is gonna change, and whether you like it or not, it's gonna change, and you have to adjust. You need to make the shift
For
for
sure.
the well being of your daughter, for your wife, for your two sons, your wife, and I think dads need to take the responsibility and all right, you got to man up. Like let's do this because you have a responsibility now. Like it's not just yourself. You're not
For
by
sure.
yourself anymore. How do you relay your teachings or like what you believe to like people that want to work with you? Like if I came up to you and was like, "Hey Leo, like I need some help. Um, you know, I want to improve my life and I want to do all these things." Like how do you go about that? From I guess from coach to client perspective.
First, I find out what it is they're struggling with
Mm,
because although I do believe I can help everybody because I believe self-development is the number one thing that everybody needs, obviously, right? Before they can pursue a business or
mm,
pursue just anything in life.
yeah.
I first find out what they're struggling with. Majority of it, majority of what people are struggling with is mindset.
Mm,
So my goal is to obviously figure that out, where they're currently at and where they're trying to go. But just to kind of wrap it up, the best way, or from what I found out, is people have this idea that life is supposed to be a certain way.
mm,
That since they see people on social media having this perfect life, that their
right.
life needs to be that way too, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not, right? So a lot of people are suffering in their imagination. Like they need to accept where they currently are, accept the truth that something, I wouldn't say something's wrong with them, but they do have to fix themselves with accepting that life is going to be a struggle and you have to work towards what you want. So, like I said, I find out where they are, and then where they're trying to go. Eliminate the vices and start doing the hard work, like the early wake up, watching what they eat, because food is the most addictive drug out there,
Yep.
and hitting the gym.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I think those things, like those things are so basic, but sometimes we just don't do them.
Yeah,
And it's like it's like, okay, well, how do we expect to improve our life if we can't even get the basic things right? You know,
for
we can't
sure.
even take care of ourselves. Like, how do you expect to improve somebody's life, or your family's life, or the people around you, or how do you expect to do and accomplish all of these things if you can't wake up early, or if you can't fight the feeling of like, oh, I want to stay in bed, this bed feels nice, like it's
Yeah,
warm, it's kind of cold out, I don't want to, it's raining outside, I don't want to go for a run, or like, the gym's 10 minutes away, I don't really want to drive, like we make up stupid excuses and we make up dumb things that
for sure.
stop us.
Yeah, we're our own worst enemy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
The thing is, it's the habits, right? So what I do
Hmm.
is they are the sum total of what they do every single day at this point, right? So what I try to do is first eliminate those, start
Yeah.
getting rid of those habits that aren't serving them, and then I
Yep.
start implementing new habits, right? Like I was saying, right? The early wake up, the food, and the gym. Once they create that into a habit, now they've developed themselves into a person that follows through with the three most difficult things:
Hmm.
the early wake up, the
Hmm.
eating, and the gym. Once
Yep.
they complete that, now they have faith and confidence in themselves to pursue anything else. It all comes down to habits. Once you find out the destination, now you got to backtrack. What steps, what daily tasks do I have to do to get to where I want to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, that's good. How do you talk to a client that is not getting it?
I'm at a point in my life.
You really, really, really want something, you are gonna go after it.
It does not change their current situation. It will not change it.
Hmm.
Sure, you have your environment isn't supporting you. Sure, but if you truly want it, you'll do whatever it takes to get out of that environment and pursue the
Hmm.
life you want. Whatever their excuse is, if they really want it, they will go get it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if someone that I've been working with for multiple months and they're just not getting it, that's them and they cannot be mad at themselves. I'm not going to lie to that person. I'm going to be completely upfront and honest with that person because that's the pandemic that we're living in right now. Family members, for the most part, will tell you what you want to hear, not what you have to hear. And that's
Mm.
what's killing them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
So I would be completely honest with that person and let them know, like, hey, you know exactly what you need to do. You're
Hmm.
not doing it. That's on you. It's that simple. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
For these people that go through, those kind of things, there's a time and place. I think that we give people grace in a sense. We give people grace on whether or not they're doing, if they continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, you kind of give them grace for a little while, but then eventually you kind of step into like, okay, well, you keep on coming back to me and nothing's changing. So what,
For
you have
sure.
to be upfront. You have to be upfront, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, that's the pandemic. Like
Hmm.
our family members are the worst people to
Mm.
try to change yourself.
Hmm.
So like I was saying earlier, right? I moved out here to Arizona in April. I was having such a hard time back at home changing because the way the human mind works, bro, is when you jump into a new endeavor and you begin this new journey and you try to change, you tell yourself, okay, this time I'm gonna commit and I'm gonna follow through on what I say I'm gonna do. But then you see your family members and your spouse or your girlfriend or your friends, and when you see their face, bro, they remind you of your mistakes.
Mm.
That's the way the human brain works. So you either get out of the environment to create change, or you must think greater than how you feel to trump that, because
Hmm.
that's just the way the human brain works.
Mm.
Life is a mirror. Those people will reflect who you know yourself to be back to you. And that's the struggle that I had, and what I'm realizing a lot of people have, because we all have a brain, and that's the way the brain works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was my mistakes.
Yeah.
So I was being pulled down. Every time I try to go up, it's like the crab analogy. They're just trying to pull you back in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you either got to get out of the environment, or you just got to be a bad mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
being around family members, it's difficult because our family members are the sum of our parents. And if we're in a situation that isn't so ideal, that means our parents weren't the best idols for us. So it's like this never-ending cycle. You think greater than how you feel, and you change there, or you get out of there.
It is worth it
for sure. It's worth
Right.
it. When I moved out here, I didn't get to say it. What I was going to say was, when I moved out here to Arizona, I was studying what this concept called the power of assumption by Neville Goddard. And I've been learning about him. And I was like, you know what? When I move to Arizona, I am going to recreate myself. I'm going to use the power of assumption, which is reaffirming, auto-suggesting who I am, which I'm a bad mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I'm going to pursue the life that I want. And I've been on that journey since. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do, bro. We have to tell ourselves who the hell we are. But then we got to back it up with action. You can't just be delusional as fuck and say you're somebody, but not do the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. 100%.
So that's what we got to do. We either accept the reality and use that as an excuse to not get where we want to go, or you reaffirm who you are and you do the work.
Yeah, well done. Well said. What would you tell the lost men out there? If you could tell the lost man out there something you would feel value from, like, what would that be?
I would tell them that there's nothing wrong with them. That you are not broken, bro. You're fine where you are. However, you're not satisfied where you are, which means you have to change. You have to make a change. What you're doing every single day is not working. So what does that mean? You have to start implementing new habits that are aligned with the man you want to be. Because as a man, the only way for you to love yourself is to be proud of yourself. And living a life with purpose will make you proud. As a man, you are not supposed to chase happiness. That's for girls and babies. We're supposed to chase purpose, bro, because that's just the way the human or the masculine frame or masculine spirit is. We have this burning desire in our hearts to chase greatness and to compete. Since we were little boys, we did that. So why stop now? Like, we have to, if you want to create change, like I said, you have to make a change in your daily process. It starts with like, for me, bro, like the early wake up. I believe a man needs to wake up before the sun comes up, before his family comes up, to prepare his mind and his body. And then the foods and the gym. You can never go wrong with that, because a healthy body is a healthy mind. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, 90% of what life is mindset. If you do not have the correct mindset, you will not be able to achieve anything, because life is not viewed as it is. It's viewed as we are. If you are not proud and prepared, you will not be able to create anything that you are proud of.
When we're able to take a hold of our habits and the patterns that we do, we're able to take a hold of our life. And
for sure.
No, you're right on target. If you were to say one thing to yourself back in the day, just one thing, what would that one thing be? You could only tell them one thing, only one thing.
That's a good question. I would say you are loved. You are loved. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, you don't view the world as it is. You view it as you are. So the reason why I didn't feel loved was because I didn't love myself. You know what I'm saying? So you have to love yourself, and you will learn how to love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want it, you'll go after it. You'll create that love within yourself. So I would just remind myself that I am loved, because I love myself now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it sucked, man. I really thought that, like, my dad hated me. I thought that
Mm,
nobody loved me, bro. Like,
yeah.
I was in a messed up place not that long ago, like 2, 3 years ago. I hit like a certain phase where I was depressed because I thought everybody was against me, bro. Like,
Mm,
I felt like I had no value, and it all started with my dad. I truly believe that my dad hated me, and the reason why I felt like he hated me was because he hated himself, and he was projecting that onto me. And
mm.
that's what we do, right? If you don't reflect, you're going to project. If you don't reflect in the morning your mistakes and what you need to fix, you will project it onto other people.
Wow. Yeah.
So I would remind myself, bro, that that I am loved, that I'm
Yeah.
loved for
Yeah,
sure.
that's awesome. Leo, thank you so much, dude. I think you said pretty much all you need to say, and it's, I mean, like you said, it's pretty simple. Let everybody know kind of where you're at, where people can find you, and all that stuff.
Active on Instagram, Leadership Fit. It's right there, LDR ship underscore fit. I will be on there 24/7. You can hit me up on there for sure.
Anything else you have to say to anybody, or anything, or any final thoughts before we close this out?
First of all, I appreciate you, Stan. It was a pleasure to jump on here and share what I know. Hopefully, a lot of people can get value out of this.
Thank you so much for listening to the Constant Pursuit podcast. If you want to follow Leo and all of the things that he's doing, make sure to go look down in this description down below with all of his information. If you guys want to follow us here on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button to get more videos like this. If you want to get the audio version that comes out 12 hours before the video version, make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, and Audible. We will see you in the next video. Peace out.
You're okay. You're fine exactly how you are. You were not broken. Accept that you need to make a change. Go out there and look for whoever has what you want and start chasing that, despite the ridicule that you will get, because you will get that, despite the judgment. It doesn't matter what they think. They're gonna think what they want, but it doesn't matter. If you truly think about it, it does not matter what they think. Start putting in the work. Use the power of assumption, which is assume who you want to be, and continue. The mind will mess with you. It'll deceive you. It'll tell you that you are nothing. But that's because you've been telling yourself that in the past, but not no more. You're not going to tell yourself that anymore. You're going to tell yourself that you're a bad MF. You're a bad motherfucker. You're going to
Yep.
pursue the life that you want.